This video is long overdue, and I've been wanting to do it for a long time, literally. But since I don't advertise or brand myself as a spiritual person, that's why some people may have some issues trying to understand that an image consultant is also a mystical or an occultist or someone who is very spiritual. So just to give you a little bit of my background, you see, since I can remember, I've always been very curious about things. I've always been the type of person who's always questioning things, right? So I was brought up in a Catholic environment. My mom used to be Catholic. My father died when I was 3 years old, so I always had like an interest in the occult, in death, in I know it sounds crazy, in the spirits, because supposedly, and I don't remember this very vividly, I had some hypnosis things just to go back to that memory, that I saw my father when just like 5 hours, 6 hours after he died on a car accident, on a car crash. And I was with my mother, and my mother said, she says to me that I saw him when I was 3 years old, and all of the pieces of glass of his car got stuck in him. So he was very scarred, he was very, full of blood, and he had a huge cut over here that supposedly was the one who killed him. And I saw it when I was a kid, right? And I was speaking to him, and that he was mad because he couldn't talk to my mother or my sister and my brother. But he was saying goodbye to me, and I was saying, yes, goodbye daddy, bye daddy, that he came and said goodbye, right? My mother, she went crazy. She was like, whoa. So she tried to to pass on to me the Catholic way of Jesus and all of these things in the Bible, which never really stuck. You see, I always used to question things like, where does God come from? Why is there three? Why is this thing happening? Why do I have to pay attention to what the one book, the Bible? I mean, where do we come from? And why does this man created me, and then out of a rib created a woman? It doesn't make sense. Where do we all come from? Like from those two people, Adam and Eve, always questioning. I remember going to church and questioning the book and the Bible and the lecture itself, and I was talking to the priest, and they would get mad at me. They would be like, there's something wrong with me because I used to question everything. So since I have a use of memory, I've always been not attached. I've always been in tune with these things, and always had an interested in these things. Moving forward, I got into spirituality like the most people, because you feel like you're lacking something, or because you just wanna know where do you fit in this whole cosmos, in this whole goddamn thing. And I wanted to learn, who am I, where do I come from, and just to make sense out of everything, the mysteries of the universe and the cosmos. And because I didn't know what to do with my life, I went to sorcerers, right? I lived in Mexico City, and there's a lot of mystical, occult, magical things, like a lot of sorceresses as well. There's a lot of black magic. There's magic overall. So I went to these places, and I had a cleansing of my aura just to be able to see clearly. And then also, I had rituals done to me that they used to hurt, because they used to tell me that I was carrying a lot of negative things, and they, without even touching you, they are cleansing your aura. And just like this, like they passed the hand, and it hurt me a lot. I remember the pain that I was having, but the shaman used to tell me that it was because I was having a struggle of letting go. You see, I did all these things, but then literally nothing happened. But the more I go back to it, and the more I think about it, I've always been these subjects. Then I met this sorceress, she's my friend. I've been working with her for a long time. She's an older woman, and the moment you meet her, man, she works with white magic, right? She knows black magic and red magic, and of course she chose the path of white magic. And these things, they actually do exist. But I will get deeper. Maybe as I do another video, I will get deeper into this. Right now, I just want to share my story with you guys, just to let you know that why I'm so into these things, right? So I got into it because I wasn't having any money, you know. I was struggling with my profession, I was struggling with my life, I was struggling trying to find my path, blah blah blah. So I went to her, and the moment I met her, you could tell that she's magical, man, that she's mystical. There's something about her eyes that it's kind of overwhelming, you know. She has a very strong aura. She's a huge, very tall woman, blonde, green. Her eyes are kind of strange. They're kind of greenish, but kind of a little bit bluish and almost like gray as well. So it's almost like she's penetrating your soul and your mind and everything about you. It's like she knows you without even knowing you, you know, without even you meeting you before. It's like she knows you. So she's into tarot and reading the cards and some rituals, and she started telling me a lot of stuff that no one else knew. Like, there was no way that she could know the things that the cards told her or the spirits told her. And I was like, damn, man, this is strange. And because I've always questioned things, and I've always had this idea that no one is above, no one is below. Like, I have a very hard time thinking that someone is better than me. Like, no, you can't be better than me. It's just because you've been doing certain things over a certain period of time that you know it, right? And you have more experience in these things. But you're no better than me. So I got even more interested in these things. So I started learning about the occult. I started learning about the Hermetic laws, about Hermes Trismegistus. I started learning about magic. And I asked her, what are some books that I can read? And I started doing it. I applied myself. Like you have no idea. Like everything else I do in my life. If I start doing something new, I just cut everything else in my life and I commit myself, like, just to give you an example, for 1 month, an entire month, I don't go out, I don't talk to no one, I just get so deep into the studies. Then I start applying it, then I start getting new things, I start getting feedback, I start experiencing things. So that's how I work in everything that I do in my life. So I remember I started just like withdrawing out of society. I just got really deep into these magical things and magical stuff and rituals. Then I met a sorcerer, you know, and I met a mentor that I had. I started hearing from him, and he was talking to demons, and then he made a pact with a demon. And it got me interested, like, okay, you know, here's this mentor that I admire, and someone who I think, well, I used to thought that he had a lot of power, and I was like, oh, so that's how he's getting his power, because he made a pact with a spirit, right? And then he has a friend who's a sorcerer, and he's working with him and doing his type of thing. So I'm like, so he's no better than me, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing. So I started, because I was already on the path of the magic and all these things, and I already knew about it, but I was not all to the degree to talk to spirits or to, you know, have out-of-body experiences. I was just like, I knew about it, but I was not really experiencing it. I was not thinking that I could become something like that. So when I saw it with them, I was like, okay, man, first of all, I gotta protect myself. Because here's this man, you know, I had a falling with my mentor and with the people that I was surrounded with. And I said, you know, I gotta protect myself. I gotta learn more about these things, because I'm not willing to allow these motherfuckers to, you know, persuade me or do something onto me simply because they have a connection with the spiritual world. So they did something, and I want to learn about this, and I'm gonna do it. So this is when I started just, you know, the way that the spiritual path is and the way that the spirits talk is like almost like it's intuition, right? It's almost like out of nowhere, in quotes. If you start on your spiritual path, certain things, certain interests will start to show up. And this is because you are getting into these things. You know, the spiritual, it's very rare when they come and talk to you like this and they show up. It's nothing like that. It's more of an intuition thing. So I started getting into these things, and I started saying, well, you know what, I'm gonna find my own demon. Which demon or angel or spirits, you have to understand there's no good, there's no bad. This is just morals. Morals come from society. Morals come from certain people, right? From ideas and beliefs of someone. The spiritual world doesn't deal with good or bad. It's beyond that. And what's good for you, it might be bad for someone else. So what's a demon for someone, it can be an angel for another person. So the name of Metatron showed up. And the moment I read the name Metatron, it's like something inside of me moved. And this is when I started realizing, okay, so this is my spiritual mentor. I'm not gonna give you the whole story because it's too long. Already this video is way too long, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. Metatron, he is an archangel. He is the most important archangels of them all. And this is the first approach that I had with a spiritual mentor. What does it mean? Well, it means that he showed me the way of the spiritual path, of the spiritual aspects of life. With him I had my first out-of-body experience where literally I was meditating. I was doing a certain ritual, and I was laying on the couch. The last thing I remember is I was very thirsty, and I stood up and I went to the kitchen and to get a glass of water. But then it was almost like I was inside of a loophole, and this image repeated itself again and again and again. But this, again, when you have an out-of-body experience, it's almost like you cannot know the difference between the real world in quotes and when you are outside of you. So in my experience, I was literally just going to my kitchen, and little did I know that I was on a loophole. But I was like, what the fuck, like this is very strange, like am I high or something, like what the fuck is happening? When I had control over it, and I said, okay, I have my glass of water, but everything was just slower, like everything was weird, but I was there in my kitchen. When I went back to my living room, I saw my body laying on the couch, like almost like I was sleeping. And that's when I just went like, whoa, shit, what the fuck? And then everything went more vividly, but vividly almost like a video game, you know what I'm saying? Like I was on GTA, like Grand Theft Auto, you know? Like everything was more crisp. Like it's very hard to explain, guys. You have to experience it, right? And then I saw me, and then I was just like, whoa. But up to this experience, I was already really in touch with the spiritual path. I was meditating on Metatron, so I knew that I was covered in quotes, because I knew that my spiritual mentor was there. And then I also realized that I had a spiritual animal, blah blah blah, right? So I started asking for Metatron. Okay, if you have something to show me, please show it to me, and thank you for being with me, blah 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 blah. And then I started, he showed me some things that changed my life completely, changed my mind. It changed me completely, inside out. Long story short, right? Then I met a guru, Sadhguru. You've probably know him from YouTube and Facebook and all these things. And just my life, this happened, out of nowhere. I was not searching for him on YouTube or anywhere. No one showed me this guy or anywhere, any like that. It's just that because I was already dealing with the spiritual path, it's almost like, I'm telling you, like intuition, like things happening out of nowhere, but it's just simply because you are prepared. So let's say that right now you're talking, you see this video, and after this a song pops up that reminds you of your dead father, or maybe a link for a YouTube video shows up that is about someone that can teach you even further about this. I don't know, man, it does happen like that. So anyway, I started learning about this Sadhguru guy, and again, because I was already deep into these things, I said, well, he's no better than me. And he even says these things, no one is above, no one is below. So I said, okay, whatever he's learning, or whoever he's learning from, I want to tap into that. And that's when I truly just changed. My voice changed, my face changed, everything changed. When I started learning from Shiva. Shiva is not a god. You may think of him as a deity, an entity or a god from Hinduism, which Hinduism is not a religion. I started getting really deep into yoga, into what's beyond the body and the mind, and into Shiva. And when I started learning from Shiva, I've had channeling experiences with him. Channeling means that you can connect with this with this entity, with through a channel that it's beyond this body and beyond this mind, and you can have, in quotes, conversations, and you can hear the messages, right? And just I felt like I was really, it was really it, right? I was like, oh man, it all makes sense, everything is connected. And long story short, and out of everything that I just told you guys, the spiritual path, you should approach these things in a way that it's all within you, my friends. You should not approach the spiritual path or magic path because you want to get more money. You know, I know that there's certain rituals that you can do to get more money, to get more deals, to get more abundance, to get someone to love you. And this is not how you should approach this. The spiritual path is something that is embedded in you. The spiritual path is not even a path, because in order for you to have a path, there's got to be a point A and a point B. This is how you know that you're on a path, because you go towards, you follow a road to get to a place. The spiritual path is not a path because it's something that has always been there, is there with you, and will always be there. It's something that is your spirit, something that is beyond your body and beyond your mind, and even, you know, let's say that when you look within you, there's no point A, no point B. It's just dropping everything that you think you are right now, dropping your identities, and exploring the different aspects that make you you. Not just what you identify yourself with, not just your nationality, not just your sex, not just your mustaches, not just your fashion, not just all of this. It's tapping into something that is greater than you, but is you and is with you, like your spirit, right? For an example. So the spiritual path is very beautiful, or the spiritual aspects of you is very beautiful, and it allows you to make sense out of life and experience a different dimension of life in a much vibrant, beautiful way. And I highly suggest that you start getting into meditation, maybe into yoga, maybe get a guru, start exploring things, start questioning everything, and that is the first step to tapping into something that it will allow you to understand things better. For example, religions come from a very beautiful place, but then they are very manipulated, and that's what I don't like. You will start understanding physics, maybe even metaphysics. You will start understanding just everything. You will start connecting the dots. Where do we all come from? Start studying Anunnakis. Everything starts making more sense. And it's just a way of being more in touch, and a way of being. You see, when you choose this path, it's not that, again, I say path just to make sense, alright? So you guys can make a sense out of this. It's a way of being. It's not something that you do, it's not something that you are, it's the way of being. A way of being that allows you to see everything for what it is, and allows you to be without any effort. Your life becomes more vibrant, more beautiful, and you no longer play the rules of society. You no longer play the rules of religions. You tap into something greater. So maybe I will do another video. This video, I've been wanting to do more videos about spirituality. If you have questions, guys, send them to me. I've had 3 out-of-body experiences. I've had channeling sessions. I actually talked to my father. That's how I knew that I was getting into something deeper and greater, right? Because I had a channeling session with my father as well, and it was really cool. I actually had 2. And I have a product where I teach about these things, and even if you want it, I can give it to you for free. It's $297, but the exchange is, I charge very, very much, simply because there's gotta be some sort of exchange. Otherwise, you just get into these things, and it's very easy to manipulate you guys. If I tell you right now that I can give you a pill, I can give you a ritual that will make you more money, that will give you the persuasion and the power that you want, that can make you talk to spirits and ghosts, and it sounds very appealing, but you should be careful of these things, because that's when you get manipulated. When you get manipulated, you will start doing crazy things. If a spirit tells you to go kill someone because you believe it in your core, you might do it. And I don't want you to do these things. This is about liberation, the ultimate form of liberation. Some people call it heaven, some people call it mukti, some people call it nirvana. This is about liberation. This is going to a place, reconnecting to a source where there are no limitations. Not with your body, it doesn't matter if someone believes it or not, trusts you or not, it's no limitations. And when you tap into that, you will feel greater, my friends. So with that, I'm going to leave you. Become the best version of yourself. This was a very long video. Hopefully it made sense. And I will keep making them if you want me to, if you have questions. I only teach this for my inner group, my inner circle, my personal students. But if you want me to, I can keep teaching you more of these things, and I will see you on the next one.